Tonight you'll go to bed. You'll close your eyes and expect 8 uninterrupted hours. If you wake up in the middle of the night, you'll tell yourself something's wrong. But the real answer is stranger than that. The idea that sleep has to be one unbroken block, from the moment you close your eyes to the moment you wake up in the morning, is younger than your grandfather, not younger than humanity, younger than electricity itself. Does that sound possible? Stay with me for a moment. In the 1990s, a psychiatrist named Thomas Wehr was working at the National Institute of Mental Health in the U.S. Wehr ran a strange experiment. He placed a group of volunteers in rooms with no artificial light for 14 hours a night, for a full month. No television, no lamp, no clock, just darkness. In the first week, people slept the way we normally do, just longer. Their bodies were still shaking off years of modern sleep deprivation. But in the second week, something nobody expected happened. People started sleeping in 2 segments. 4 hours of sleep, an hour or an hour and a half awake, then another 4 hours of sleep. That waking hour wasn't anxious or tense, it was calm. Some participants described it as closer to a meditative state, not insomnia. Something else entirely. Wehr called this segmented sleep, but he wasn't the first to discover it. A historian named Roger Ekirch from Virginia Tech spent 20 years digging through thousands of historical documents, diaries, court records, old medical texts, literary works from the Middle Ages and earlier. And he found something strange repeating hundreds of times. People in the past talked about a first sleep and a second sleep as if it were completely ordinary, needing no explanation. The way we say breakfast and lunch, they said first sleep and second sleep. Why didn't anyone find this strange? Because it was normal. Everyone lived it. Between the 2 sleeps, people would wake for an hour or more. They didn't worry. They prayed. They talked with whoever was beside them in bed. They reflected on their dreams. Some visited neighbors. Farmers used the time to check on their animals. Couples talked during this hour more than at any other point in the day. Picture it, a dark house, no sound but the wind. Someone awake in the middle of the night, not anxious, just quiet, thinking. This time had a name in some cultures. They called it the quiet hour or the blessed time. So the question becomes, why don't we sleep like that anymore? The answer isn't as complicated as you might expect. The answer is artificial light. Before the electric lamp was invented in the late 19th century, nights were long, especially in winter. 14 or 15 hours of darkness every day. The human body was forced to fill that time with something, and it filled it with 2 sleep phases separated by a calm hour of wakefulness. When the lamp was invented, nights suddenly got shorter. People started staying up until late hours, then sleeping in one relatively short block so they could wake up early for work the next day. A pattern that had been natural for thousands of years disappeared in less than a century. The strange part is that its disappearance didn't happen fast enough for the body to fully forget it. There's still a trace of it inside every one of us. And here we come to a third researcher, Jerome Siegel from UCLA. Siegel and his team traveled to 3 different communities still living the hunter-gatherer lifestyle our ancestors lived for thousands of years. The Hadza in Tanzania, the San in Namibia, the Semane in Bolivia. The result was surprising, but in the opposite direction. These communities, with no electricity, no screens, no alarm clocks, did not sleep in 2 phases like the pattern Ekirch described from European history. They slept in 1 block, but much shorter than 8 hours. Their average sleep was between 6 and 6.5 hours, so what's going on? Was segmented sleep real or not? Both are real, but each one tells you something different. Ekirch's discovery says the human body is highly flexible, able to adapt to however much night is available, whether that's 1 short sleep or 2 sleeps separated by a waking hour. Siegel's discovery says the magic number of 8 uninterrupted hours we worry about doesn't actually exist in nature in the way we think it does, which means the anxiety you feel waking up at 3 in the morning isn't anxiety over something wrong with your body. It's anxiety from comparing yourself to a standard with no real historical or biological basis. Take a moment and think about the last time you woke up in the middle of the night. What was the first thing you did? Probably grabbed your phone, checked the time, felt anxious, calculated how many hours you had left. The body inside you doesn't know it's doing anything wrong. It's acting exactly like its ancestors did. The problem is your mind learned to call it run,